You believe J-PAL is going to steer us into a soft landing? Well, you want to stick with the highest quality industrials. Companies like Linde, Linde, that's the #1 industrial gas play. We like it so much, we own it pretty big, I have to admit, for the Travel Trust. This morning, Linde reported a seemingly mixed quarter, a slight revenue miss coupled with 26-cent earnings beat off a $2.90 basis. More important, management gave you a terrific forecast. What a conference call for both the current quarter and the full year, which is why the stock jumped over 4%. And some people sold it at 217 today. Like 317, it was like crazy. People were just giving up. Can it keep climbing? Let's check in with Sanjiv Lamba. He's the CEO of Linde to get a better sense of the quarter. Mr. Lamba, welcome to Mad Buddy.
Hey, Jim, great to be here.
Well, you have to be astonished that people still think that on a given quarter they should sell your stock. When you are a secular grower, that does not go up and down like so many cyclicals.
Jim, we are hugely resilient. You know our business. We are all pervasive, I would say. Every industrial activity, we have a small contribution to make to that. And obviously, we serve right from chemicals, refineries, steel making, semiconductors, which you've talked about previously, frozen pizzas to a nice draft beer that you might get.
Yes, I mean, when I look at all the different markets you're in, you have the greatest mosaic of any company. Plus, I think that you're so instrumental that if there was a raw cost that spiked, you'd be able to reclaim that from your customers.
Absolutely. So, Jim, we say with some pride that pricing discipline is something that's built into our DNA. Pricing discipline is all about, and we've done it for 30 years. It's not new.
Right.
It's a muscle we flex often. Contractually, we manage solid contracts that ensure that cost inflation is passed on to our customers consistently. In addition to that, obviously, productivity is very important for us. We manage our cost base to the extent we can. That's where margin expansion comes from. And we're all about margin expansion. We finished a quarter and a year with record ROC, record operating margins, and I feel really good about 9 quarters of EPS growth.
That's been sensational. Now, a lot of our viewers at home will say, well, why do you like these guys so much beside that? Because, people care more about than just the numbers. And I would say, because if you want to decarbonize the world, you guys are so instrumental. This OCI contract you got is gigantic. And I bet you if you walk our viewers through it, they'll realize that if there's hope for defeating carbon, it lies with you.
Jim, I absolutely agree with you, and I have to say that I'm excited about the OCI contract. Now, I just want to make the point that decarbonization is a big agenda, right? And we have a contribution to make, and we have the technology, the operational expertise, and the assets on the ground to be able to make that difference. OCI fits in our strategy. Our strategy is about making sure we provide clean hydrogen to other entities, processes which can be decarbonized, and of course, new markets. OCI is a great example of new markets. Blue ammonia. Right. We're going to invest $1.8 billion to make sure we provide blue hydrogen and nitrogen for OCI to go and make ammonia and sell it in the marketplace. Long-term contract. We're tied at the hip, if you will, and we make sure that we're actually investing to ensure the broader decarbonization happens in the U.S. Gulf Coast and elsewhere. But of course, the asset base in the U.S. Gulf Coast means we have an inherent advantage and a leverage that we want to make sure goes into promoting blue hydrogen development in the U.S.
Now, you also are instrumental if you're going to open a semiconductor plant. Linde's going to be there.
Absolutely. Any top-tier player in the semiconductor space, we supply to them. Whether it's Samsung, it's TSMC, whether it's Intel, across the world, Jim, we are right at the heart of a semiconductor fab. I know there's lots of concerns around semiconductor. I want to tell you this. Our volumes going into semiconductors are at an all-time high.
I saw that there were more than 20%. That was extraordinary.
That's right.
At the same time, people should recognize, this is why I say that you have such stickiness and you're not cyclical, carbonization in your soda.
Indeed. If you want to pick up a Coke or a beer, we're right in there. And that's the reason you enjoy it.
Well, now, you also are going to be one day, I think, the key to green hydrogen, which we know is once we can get costs down for electricity, you will be there, correct?
Absolutely, Jim. So we are on a journey to green hydrogen. We have great technology around that, so we feel good about the technology. In my mind, it's about 5 to 7 years away for scale-up.
Right.
And I think when that happens, we'll have a point of inflection where costs will be competitive.
I don't want to be too nitty-gritty, but you had an event that I think threw some investors off with this delisting.
Correct.
Now it's going to be much cleaner. And I think that maybe you could just discuss that there was some confusion, but that confusion is going to be ended soon.
It's simple, Jim. We were listed, dual listed in 2 exchanges, Frankfurt and New York. In Frankfurt, essentially we were hitting the cap every other day. The better you perform, the more you hit the cap, and we got sold down. No fundamentals
That's
involved.
Index
technical
cap.
selling. That's right. Index is selling it out. So essentially all we did was put a proposal through our board to the shareholders to say, you make the decision. 94% of shareholders voted in favor of delisting. It's a clean listing in New York Stock Exchange that ensures that everyone understands what's going on. There's no arbitrage, and we have clear visibility to what we want to get done.
What's interesting is it does matter. See, I think there are people who are confused. I also think, look, my own view is that you've put through dividends. I know it's up to the board, a higher dividend in February, historically. And I also know that you have a tremendous buyback, but it's on pause because of this. People don't understand you've been a voracious buyer of your shares.
We have. We think it's the best investment you can make, Jim. And dividend growth, so we have our capital allocation philosophy is very simple. Maintain rating, grow dividend, invest in every high quality project. Everything else that we generate in cash, share buybacks. And we're consistent in that. I expect to continue to do that. We're low on leverage. We have the ability to flex that muscle as well.
Well, look, I think you're the state. I love industrials, but I love industrials that grow like this, not crazy. And you're the best at it in the entire world. I want to thank Sanjiv Lamba. He's the CEO of Linde. I'm not kidding. Look, anyone who belongs to our club knows that this is our favorite industrial stock in the world. And money's back into the break.
Coming up, after COVID,